Hello everyone, hope you're all doing great today. And okay, so I hope the title didn't scare you, because I'm not hurt or anything. I did fight, but I'm not hurt. But yeah, today, what I did is fight for my rights. Transgender person. I protested against the current state of affairs, with how it is in my country, because it is unbearable. And it's bringing me a great deal of pain. And so I actually lied earlier. It does. I am hurt. I am hurt deeply. Not physically, but emotionally and mentally. By the way, I'm treated by this country. Even though I enjoy living here, and even though I'm proud of my country, parts of it are really shit. Hello, OZ900. Thank you for being here and letting me share my story. Uh, so yeah. So what I did today is protest. Hello, Bonyastal. Hello. So today I protested against the healthcare system of our nation of the Netherlands, because it is all. How dare you say my name? I identify most things, like most new names. Sorry, I didn't identify your name. Oh, 900. 900. But especially if you do konnichiwa, I'll identify it. Anyway, I have a story to tell. Let me get some music on in the background first. Of course, I have to attribute it, because that's part of the conditions. It's a very good song, and I highly recommend it. This creator is actually the one I used on my intro. I found it through 100% Orange Juice. Anyway, enough about that. So, as you probably may already know, and if you don't know, you might be able to tell by my damn it, it's not growing. Oh no. What? Oh, I messed up. I meant to show these, my socks. Because that's the transgender flag. Because yes, I am transgender. I'm I'm not pretty sure what I am. I like to call myself a demigirl. And I explain that that's halfway between being a girl and being non-binary. And well, I often question my gender, and part of me believes that if in the past I was able to explore my gender more, I might have been a fanboy. Because I think we should start there. Because in the past I've always been like not the most boyish boy. I've always been incredibly proud of my femininity, and like always, yeah, I've always been a little bit proud of that. But I've also felt great societal pressure and pressure from my parents, and some of my friends, that to be a boy, basically. Like even when I was a child, I've always wanted to have long hair. But my mom, she made me she cut it all the way down to the millimeter, which to this day still makes me incredibly hesitant to go to a barber or to cut my hair, so my hair is a giant mess. Sorry. And also when like even when I was 13, I've always wanted to wear a skirt, but I've been way too afraid to actually do it. And that's, yeah. Sorry. I'm a bit tired today. I did a lot of standing, and I'm not very good at telling stories. So it's not something I usually do. Although I do love writing, but that's easier because then you don't have to stumble over your words. I tend to stumble over my words. You should know that by now if you're watching me. Anyway, where was I? Right, so yeah, I've always wanted to wear skirts from 13 years old or something. But I've always been too afraid to get stuff. Like when I was clothes shopping, I was with my parents, and I never felt comfortable expressing that I wanted to wear a skirt. I also did some shopping alone, but I always felt being watched or something, and that I wasn't allowed to buy a skirt. Which is bullshit. Of course you're allowed to buy a skirt, no matter who you are. Skirts are great. You should all wear skirts. But yeah, it's really sad that I wasn't allowing myself to explore that. There were a few things that I did do. Like eventually I was able to grow out my hair. And when I did, I wore ponytails with like a little like how do you call that in English? Like, hang on, let me look this up. A little bow tie, not really a bow tie. Like a, I don't know. I wear like a piece of. Ugh. Sorry, really hard to find the right words. Yeah, I wore like a ribbon in my hair, like I was present. And I did that at school even, and I really liked it. School wasn't been the greatest time for me, but that's not something I'm going to get into today. So yeah, even as a child, I've always experienced small amounts of gender dysphoria. I don't think it really came out a lot until my 17th. But I did like want to like explore stuff with my gender. But because I wasn't allowed to, I had great difficulty with it. And I really regret not exploring it, but I also don't blame myself because of the circumstances I found myself in. So that's how I experienced my gender dysphoria as a child. Then later I got into a relationship with someone, and that's all I'm really going to say about that. Other than that relationship was very emotionally damaging to me, and it brought me a great deal of trauma, which certainly doesn't help my situation now, because it's thanks to them that I basically discovered that I was transgender. 'Cause, like, I started dating them when I was still thinking I was a guy. Like I told that person, like, hey, I sometimes question my gender and stuff, and they and they told me they were ecstatic, but I can't really trust it anymore, because they also were into girls, so that they told me that that's cool with them. So they were also willing to like share their skirts with me. Well, at least they told me though too, but there never was an opportunity to do that, for me to actually wear those skirts. And they also were really restrictive about my expression, because they had a smaller sibling, and they told me that it was to protect them, but I can't trust them anymore at all. Because it has been that traumatic to me. Yeah, they helped me. They helped me discover that I was indeed transgender, and they even helped me pick my name up. But ultimately, it was my choice to call myself Saya. But because she did help a lot with that in her own way, in their own way. But yeah, it's gone with them now, and I don't want to see them ever again, because they abused me like hell. And yeah, now we're here, and kind of strange hearing about single person them. Well, get used to it, because I try to refer to everyone as they them now. Because it's because I've assumed genders in the past, and I've been wrong thrice now. But yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I think it was like how long was it ago? I think it was in like June of 2020. I went to my doctor and was like, "Hey, I'm transgender. Can I get medical care about my transgenderism?" And they were like, "Sure, we'll register you in this university clinic for gender dysphoria." And that was 2 years ago. And so you're probably thinking, oh, oh wow, so 2 years, that must have been quite long years. You must have already had a lot of conversations with them. Maybe you've even started your hormone replacement therapy. And no, the answer is no, just straight up no. And that's what we're protesting about today, because there's an incredible waiting list, and in this well over 2 years that I've been waiting, I've not had a single conversation with a gender dysphoria specialist. I've not had a single hormone prescribed for me. I've never had a single anything to do with my gender dysphoria. And the healthcare in this place is really shit with gender dysphoria, and also mental health. That as well. Because you may remember quite a while ago, I was feeling incredibly depressed, and I even ended one of my streams with I actually said in that stream that, "Hello, hey everyone, this will be my last stream because I'm going to commit suicide." And yeah, well, I didn't succeed in it, as you can clearly tell. I have done several attempts, and like this gender dysphoria has been part of it, and that's why it's important that we were protesting today against this system that mistreats us. Because I've been waiting for 2 years, and I'm destined to wait for at least one more year, and I don't think it's getting there anytime soon, which is just really shit. And that's why I went to the protest today. Yeah, I do have some mental health care, but that's also been quite a disaster. So sorry, I need a moment. So starting like in the spring of this year, I was already to my doctor like, hey, I'm not doing okay mentally, and well, I haven't been doing okay mentally for well, maybe a year at that point already. And I was basically telling them like, hey, I want to see a mental health professional. So they tried signing me into the first one. And they told me, that institution told me from, hey, you're such a mess, we can't help you at all. So that was a bit defeating. But honestly, I think they're right, and they couldn't have helped me, and I'm glad that I didn't go in there, because I've had awful therapy before, and I'm rambling like nonsense. I'm totally not putting it in one piece. I might have to put it in writing if that's necessary. Let me know afterwards if my story is all over the place, because I'm a bit scatterbrained. I'm an airhead. You may not know that. So yeah, they broke me into a different kind of therapy. And they did allow me, but they had to wait until they had a free spot. And when I called them, which was after a month after my doctor registered in me, I called them and I said, hey, am I still getting therapy? And they told me, yes, but it's going to take 10 months. Which is not a good thing to hear if you're looking for mental health care. Especially if you're already waiting for 2 years for another mental health care. It's fucking ridiculous. So I had to wait for another like 10 months. Except that was in April, and now I'm already in there, which is less than 10 months. Which made you think, hey, that's a good thing, but the reason it got accelerated so much is because I actually did those suicide attempts. Because I really wanted to die. And I still kind of do sometimes. Yeah, so now I do have healthcare, mental health care. But it's still, and it's getting slightly better with me. Still have some down moments, but I can say for sure that I haven't attempted suicide in for this entire month. So well over 18 days. I've not done a single suicide attempt, which I guess I should be proud of. Yeah. So yeah. So what we did today was the protest. So I went first. I started going to my friend's house. Because they were the ones who told me about the protest, because I'm like kind of a hikikomori that doesn't really follow the news. And they were like, hey, I'm going to this protest. They're cisgender themselves, but that's fine. I guess I could call them she, her. It's a girl, after all. But yeah, she told me, hey, this protest is going on. Are you going there? And I was like, oh, I didn't know about that. Thank you for telling me, and I'll definitely go there. And so we basically went there together. So I went to her today. We did arrive a little bit late, but nobody's counting that. We had some minor hiccups going there. But it was fun. I wore the flag, the transgender flag my brother gave me on my back. And we went there. It was a lot of like, there were some people talking. They were telling, like, sharing their stories. Like one was talking about how people who search asylum here, despite the Netherlands supposedly being a safe haven for transgender and other LGBT individuals, they were talking about how they were incredibly discriminated against for their transgenderism. We've had some people talk about some people, like, some did some poetry they wrote. I even got a poetry book composed by transgender individuals. If I can be honest, personally, I didn't really like the poetry because it wasn't my taste. I prefer prose over poetry. And poetry has to be really specific for me to like it. Yeah, there were also some other speakers talking about how we could reform and what we wanted. So basically, we wanted to get rid of the long waiting list. We wanted to accept non-binary treatments. I kind of forgot the rest, unfortunately. very sorry about that. But yeah, we were like, they were listening to their demands, and they were pretty reasonable in my eyes. We also wanted to have a discussion with like the people that run the hospitals. Talk to them about why the situation is so bad as it is now. Unfortunately, they didn't show up, which is really bad. Other than that, we did a lot of chanting, a lot of roaring up, like solidarity, and that we wanted transgender treatment now and not later, and all kinds of chants like that. So the basic idea was about getting transgender healthcare now instead of 3 years in the future, because 3 years, it's an agonizing amount of pain without any kind of help, without any consolation or anything of that, and it does drive people to kill themselves, and several people have killed themselves like that, and I was nearly one of them. Of course, there were other things that played with me, but I'm sure the same goes for everyone else who took their own life and was transgender. And because of that, I'd like to have a moment of silence for all people who met their unfortunate end, partly due to the mistreatment of transgender individuals in my country, which I'm ashamed to say of. So please, a moment of silence. Thank you. But yeah. So, and also the weather was kind of shitty today. It was raining. Like the entire time we were there, it was raining. On my way there, it was raining, and on my way back, it was also raining. But rain doesn't stop us, and we will fight for our rights as transgender people. And yeah, I did leave like after the main event was over, because I was kind of tired of standing around shouting, and I needed some social solitude to get a hold of myself again. And yeah, that's everything I've been wanting to tell for today. So hopefully now we'll do something about this transgender healthcare system that is an unfortunate part of my country, and I wish we could change. There is a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, but it's a light that is a little bit dim. Because during the rally, I got the email address. I got the email address of a organization that will be able to help with self-medication. And well, I'm not really sure if this is a good idea, because I'm worried that this will have unfortunate consequences for me as an individual, and also for me with my transgender healthcare, and for my wallet, which is also a part, which is also one of our demands. We also want it to be free, essentially, because it's a medical necessity, so it should be free. We should have free healthcare. We have a weird healthcare system that I'm not getting into because I don't really like it. At least it's not American healthcare. But yeah, I got the contact for a private way of getting homewards, and with the ways things are going, I might be forced to take them up on this offer and get my hormones that way, which is exciting but terrifying at the same time. And it's something I'm not ready to do yet today, and something I'll have to discuss with my therapist before I commit anything. But I may have to. And I think that's actually everything I want to talk about. Yeah, that's the story I want to share with all of you. Thank you all for listening. Are there any questions? I do see my internet is getting kind of shitty. I hope it's a stable connection. Okay, are there any questions from the audience? Our next song is Special. Okay, so I'm gonna take that as no, there are no questions. I hope my internet's going to manage. Let me check. It says it's a connection still. So I hope that's going to be fine. Okay, so hard to say what can be said, looks like a bit late. You have your decision. What do you mean late? I wonder how your therapist sees it. Yeah, I wonder too. I'm going to discuss it with them soon. But I haven't had an appointment between this afternoon and tonight. So I couldn't really speak to them. I kind of did this after today. I hope my story was a little bit clear. I might write it over in text form later anyway, because I'm incredibly all over the place. And if I don't write it down, I don't have a coherent story. And there are also some stuff I don't really want to get into much, like my traumatic relationship and those kinds of things. But yeah, if there aren't any questions right now, then that's fine. Feel free to ask anything later on. Don't be scared not to. I'll gladly answer your questions later today during the stream when we're playing games, or just in my Discord. Feel free to join. My Discord server is quite kind of a graveyard at the moment. There's not a lot going on in there. But I'd love to make it a place where we chat more often. And I need your help with that. Can't do it alone.